the night of the incident,
Hmm.
break down what exactly happens before you show up at the hotel.
Okay, so the night, just like any other night, I received a call from Charles Fuller. He called me, he's like, Pops wants to see you. I said, okay, fine. There'll be a car, whatever time. Took the car, went back to the Meridian, got there. Once I walked in, uh, everybody was there, Charles, Jack, everyone was there in the living room. They were drinking. They were actually watching a TV that was they had a they I guess they had a suite. There were two bedrooms, and in the middle there was a living room. So they were in the living room just watching TV. I came in, and they were like, "What do you want to drink?" I was like, "Oh, they were drinking like Absolute. We drank. They poured me a drink." Pa comes in, and he's like, "Hey." I'm like, "Hey," and we sit down on the couch in the living room, which was there. And I just remember sitting there. We were talking, and I was like, "Well, how was your day?" And we were talking about that. And I remember verbatim this. He had a scar across his face. Um, and of course, now that I know it was cosmetic from above the rim. And I was like, wow, it looks so real. And I remember touching it. He was like, yeah, yeah, they did a great job. I was like, yeah. And he's like, yo, I'm tired. Come on, let's go. And I remember getting up and walking into another bedroom that was adjacent because the living room was between two bedrooms. And I went into the bedroom with him.
Okay. So at the hotel at this point, it's you, Tupac, Charles Fuller, the road manager,
No, no, no.
Haitian.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry.
No, no, I'm just trying to, all the people that are there in the room. So it's you, Tupac,
Hmm.
Charles Fuller, right? Haitian Jack,
Hmm.
and then Trevor and Nigel.
Yes.
Okay, so one, two, three, four, five people total.
Hmm.
Okay, so you guys go into Tupac's bedroom, and then what happens?
So we go into the bedroom, and he's like, I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm like, okay. So we go in there, and he says he's like, yo, can you give me a massage? And I'm like, okay. So he lays down. At first, at one point, he's laying down face down on the bed, and I'm massaging his back, and then he turns over, and then I'm straddling him, and I'm massaging, like he's facing me, and I'm just like massaging his shoulders and so forth.
Okay, what happens next?
So after that, after I'm massaging him, he grabs the back of my head, he pulls me down, and we start kissing. All of a sudden, because the we were adjacent to the room, the living room where everyone was in. So it was very dark, it was very quiet. So all of a sudden when the door opens, of course there's light, there's noise coming from the living room, pouring into where we are. So as we're kissing, I go to turn around to look back around, and he grabs my head. And when he grabs my head to turn it back around, I hear people coming into the bedroom. I didn't I didn't think anything of it because I've been with I didn't think anything of it. And I thought maybe someone had left something in the room. They were coming to get something out of the room. No idea. And as I'm turning around, he grabs the back of my hair. At the time, I had braids. I had braids in my hair at the time. So at the time, he grabs the back of my head, and he wraps his hand around my braids, and he turns me toward him, and he pulls my head down, and I hear people coming in. And at the time, I had a black dress on. I had a black, I guess, yeah, spandex back then. I had a black spandex dress on, and I'm hearing this noise, and I'm hearing these people come in the room, and he's like, relax, baby. And I'm like, what? And he's like, relax. And as I go to turn around and look back, because he has his hand in my braids, I can't physically move around. So I'm looking at him while I'm straddling him, and I'm looking at him face to face. And I'm like, and I hear people talking, and I hear people saying, "Oh, look at her, and her ass is fat, and this and that." And I'm looking at him dead in his eye, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like like what's going on? And he's saying to me, he's like, "Relax, relax, 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 baby. These are my boys. I like you so much. I decided to share you with them." And when he said this to me, I was trying to lift my head up. I was trying to lift my head up. And as I was trying to lift my head up, he still had my hair and he was holding it. And then I was like, no, 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 no. And he was like, no, this is no. And I was like, no, I don't want this. I came here for you. I don't want this. This is not what I want. This is not what I want. And
Take a moment. That's fine. Okay, so at this point, other men have entered the room. And who are these other men at this point?
Uh, at this point, I would say um, it was Jack, it was Fuller.
Was Nigel and Trevor in the room or no?
Well, I keep going back and forth with the Nigel. I think Nigel was actually Jack, is what they called Jack.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I
You're saying that's the same person.
yeah,
Nigel and Jack are the same person.
yes,
Haitian Jack. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, because when I was going through my notes, that part was kind of confusing because I know Haitian Jack was there.
yeah.
Okay, so that was the person that you knew as Nigel. Okay. Okay, so they come in, Pac is there, and the situation is unfolding. What does Pac do at that point?
At the time, I'm on top of him. I'm straddling him. At the point where I feel uh and and pardon me, because at one point I'm there and at one point I'm really not. You know what I mean? Like, as far as, at one point I'm there omnipresent in my body, and another point I'm kind of looking down at myself because I can't believe this is happening to me. So at one point my physical body is straddling him. He's there. I hear the voices. They come in. I hear my dress is being ripped. I hear this, but I'm actually physically still on top of him. He's still there in the bed. I'm still straddling him and I'm still there. He's still holding me. He still has his hand wrapped around my braids. So I'm still there. He's still there. And they start to, and the thing I remember is I had I had black stockings, which we would call pantyhose back then. I had them on, and I remember them being ripped off. I remember my dress being ripped off. I remember all this happening, but I'm still on top of Tupac, and he's still there. So I'm still there looking at his face while all this is actually happening.
At what point does Tupac leave?
Um, the point where they're pulling off my clothes, my pantyhose, they're talking about me. Um, I actually straddled and had sex with Tupac that night while I was on top of him. Then he got up and he left. And uh then there was Jack, and then and then it followed after that.
Okay, so you had sex with Tupac with all the other guys in the room
Yes, I
first?
was on top of him. Yes.
Okay, and the other guys were what, just touching you while you guys were having sex,
Yes,
or
correct. Mm-hmm.
okay, so then Tupac walked out of the room
Right.
and then you had sex with
No, no, no.
Haitian Jack?
I didn't have sex with them.
Okay.
And that particular night, I didn't have sex with him. I want to make that very much clear. You know what I mean? I didn't have sex with Tupac that night, and I didn't have sex with them that night. I was
Okay, so
raped that
I guess
night.
I'm sorry. So I guess I'm just confused. So you're straddling Tupac, the other guys come in.
Yes.
At what point does Tupac leave and leave you alone with those guys?
After I was trailing him, they came in, they ripped off my clothes because as when I was on Tupac, I was fully dressed. I had pantyhose, I had a dress on, I had everything. I was fully dressed, okay? When they came into the room, they started ripping my clothes apart. Meanwhile, at the time, I'm fully like I can't move because my hair, everything is, I'm looking at him this whole time while this is going on, okay? So you know what, I'm gonna not gonna say that I had sex with him. I was raped by him that night because it wasn't consensual at that point when everyone was in the room and they were tearing off my clothes and I was straddling him that night, okay? At one point I did not know that he left because after that happened, it was kind of like when Jack, Haitian Jack, and everyone was there, I was kind of like I don't know, and I kind of, I don't know, I kind of was at a out of body experience at that point because I couldn't believe this was happening. So I don't even know at one point he left because I didn't even hear him leave. I knew that I was on top of him. I knew that I was straddling him. I knew they came into the room. I knew they tear off my clothes. I knew that he had me, in a position where that I could not move. I knew that I was on top of him. I knew that I was looking him in the eye. I knew all this was going on. But when I finally came to, it was only me and Charles Fuller in the room. Everyone had left, but I knew that Haitian Jack had sex with me. I knew that there was someone else that I don't even know who he was. That
Was that Trevor, possibly?
it could have been Trevor. It could have
Okay.
been.
Okay. So you did you actually have intercourse with Fuller and Haitian Jack, or was it just fellatio, or what?
No, it was I well, you can't say have sex because this is rape. This was something that was not a consensual thing. So I was raped by Tupac. I was raped by Haitian Jack. I was raped by the tall, dark skinned gentleman. I guess if we would say he was Fuller. I mean, I'm sorry, he was Trevor. And Charles Fuller never raped me because when Charles Fuller was like, I'm not going to touch you. Because at that point, he was like, Ayanna, I'm not going to touch you. I'm so sorry this happened. So actually, to be on the record, Charles Fuller never raped me that night.